Hello. I've just been thinking about the mask wearing issue and whether it's really good for us or whether it actually keeps us from getting sick. So, when you wear a mask, you're rebreathing your own CO2 and thereby lowering your oxygen levels. This is even harder on children because children's bodies are smaller and their oxygen levels will drop much faster than yours. So it doesn't seem that that's a terrifically healthy thing to do. Also, if you think about the weave of your mask, unless you have a military style of rebreathing mask, the masks that you get out there, the weave is actually quite large. And viruses are extremely teeny tiny. They are submicroscopic particles. They are, I saw somewhere, they're 100 to 500 times smaller than fungus and bacteria. So if it had a mind to, it could actually get through your mask. Of course, it's not going to do that because viruses are not alive as such. They need a living cell. They need to be able to get into a living cell to reproduce. This is according to what you read out there. So, your mask is not doing that much for you. Traditionally, we have always isolated sick people. I've never seen a healthy individual being isolated. So, an isolation can only happen in a controlled environment, such as in a hospital. So, if a person is isolated in a hospital, they're in a room by themselves. Depending on the type of isolation, they may even have filtered air going in and out of the room. Outside of the room, you have a cart where you pick up your gowns and masks and gloves and booties and whatever else you need. And then you put all that stuff on, you go in the room, you do what you need to do. Before you leave the room, you take all of that protective gear off and you discard it. If it's disposable stuff, it goes into the trash. And if it's reusable, like some of the gowns in the olden days used to be fabric, and you just put them in the laundry receptacle. So, and then every time you go into that room, whoever goes into that room, they put on new protective gear. So this is something that is impossible to replicate out in the open. I've seen people walking around with masks on in their cars or walking around out in nature. I don't understand why they're doing this. I don't think they really understand what they're doing. They're just blindly following. It's the blind leading the blind. The only way you could get a virus or inhale or swallow something that would land on your mucous membranes in your face would be if something was actually dropped from a plane, aerosolized, some sort of poisonous substance or some kind of biological agent that is, in droplets being aerosolized from a plane. And then if you were to walk through that cloud of stuff, you would have protection by wearing a mask, and you'd have to have goggles and, all sorts of stuff to protect yourself from this. In nature, viruses don't fly through the air. They do not survive on surfaces for days on end the way we've been told. They just don't. The only way you can catch something is Somebody would have to cough or sneeze or spit right in your face. You know, that's the way it's person to person transmission. This is what they tell us, okay? And that's what would have to happen. And how many times in your life have you been coughed on? Now, I've been coughed on and sneezed at and spit on thousands of times in my many years of work and the kind of work that I do. So I'm still here. I've never had the flu. And, you just practice general hygiene. Your skin, as a matter of fact, is the best barrier for, viruses or bacteria entering your body. That's what prevents it from coming in. So really what you need to do is just wash your hands. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. That's pretty much what we've been doing for many years now. So, I don't know what else to say. It's just beyond me, beyond my understanding what people are doing. Where I live, it's not a law. The government has not put out a law saying that you have to wear a mask. It's highly recommended. Of course, that's a whole nother subject, why they would do that. But, the stores around here are implementing mask wearing because they're being politically correct, I guess. They're probably afraid that they'll be sued by somebody who gets sick after they've been shopping in their store. So, but the word is also, if you have a medical condition that prevents you from wearing a mask, you can opt out. So it seems like we all could, connect the dots and realize that if a mask is contraindicated for certain medical conditions and it's not good for the person to wear it, maybe it's not good at all. At all. I put a link to Larken Rose's video underneath this video. He has a good one out on all this that's going on right now, and some really good thoughts on the curve flattening business that they've been telling us. So please go there and watch that. He does a bit of yelling because he's just frustrated, but it's food for thought. So I do hope you consider this the way, a different way of looking at this, and just relax. Just relax. And thanks for listening.